Welcome to 3DOptix Tutorials. Today we are going to review working with multiple light sources in 3DOptix. First, we need to create a file. I pre-populated the file so we can just move into the project. Okay, if you've seen the first tutorial on adding a light source, a lot of this will be familiar. We're going to drag and drop a few light sources from the outliner bar to our 3D layout here. Okay, so we've positioned them right next to each other, right around the center of the origin, which is the center of the breadboard. All right, now let's go in and change some of the light source settings. We're going to click on our light source and go to the ribbon bar. Going to go to light source settings. Now we're going to pin this so as I move from light source to light source, this won't minimize. We'll change the 3D layout raise to 100, keep the analysis raise the same. We'll go to spatial information and we'll just simply change the radius to 5. Everything else will keep the same here. Now let's go into our other two light sources and do the same thing so we have three identical light sources. All right, there's one. And for the final one, the settings are done. Okay, and now we will hit propagation simulation to propagate the rays. Okay, great. Now we have three identical light sources we can use in our optical system. The next thing we are going to do is we're going to move them all to the origin so that they occupy the same space. Okay, we'll go up to the move, rotate, and we will pin this as well so we don't have to keep maximizing the move rotate bar as we move through our light sources. There we go. All right, let's hit propagation simulation again. And now as we can see, it looks like we have a single light source because all three light sources are occupying the same space and are pointing in the same direction here. This is useful if we want to simulate a marginal and chief ray propagating through an optical system or a diverging source where we want to see the on-axis and most divergent part of the light source. Let's look at emulating a divergent source. Let's angle two of these light sources to simulate this. So our LS1 in the outliner bar here will be our on-axis source. LS2 will be the negative divergent source. And we will actually change this to negative divergence so that we can see it in the outlining bar and easily pick it out. And we'll do the same for LS3, but it'll be positive divergence. And we'll rotate this about the y-axis 10 degrees. Okay, let's hit propagation simulation again. And now that it's updated, we see we have three different sources. We have the on-axis source and the positive and negative divergence source. This is a good start, but as we're analyzing our optical system, since these are all the same color, visually it may be hard to determine what light source is going where. So what we're going to do is we're going to go up and click on View. We're going to change Ray Color Palette to User-Defined Colors. We're then going to go back to our light sources, so we'll change the negative div and the positive div light source. Go to Light Source Settings and Appearance. We'll change one to red. As you can see, it updates in the visual layout here. We'll pin this again. Then we'll go to the positive div, and we'll change this to blue. Okay, and again, you can see this updates in the 3D visual layout. Okay, now we have three different light sources, and we can actually see them. They propagate through the optical system. We will be able to visually see which light source is going where. So this is kind of nice. Okay, now that we have our light source settings here, let's go up to the top taskbar and let's go to this button here, Light Off. So from here, once we've propagated out our light sources, we can actually turn the light source on and off. Additionally, if we select our light source, we will unpin that. We click the light on/off button in the ribbon bar. This will also individually turn off the light source. Now we can turn all of them off with the light on/off in the top taskbar and turn them off individually. So these do override each other. So if we turn them all off in the top taskbar and come to the ribbon bar, we can turn our light source on and off. There we go. Okay, And if we move back to the propagation simulation button and we click this down caret, we'll see there's a few options we have. We can actually select and deselect our light sources that we want to propagate. But notice that we have to at least have one light source checked. So we can do one, some, or all light sources when we propagate the simulation. Okay, and one last item, we're going to drag a rectangular detector to our 3D layout. Right, that looks good. And we're going to make it a little bit bigger. So we'll go to the detector element here in the ribbon bar and change the half widths. All right, that looks pretty good. It's hitting our light source. Let's hit the propagation simulation button again. And again, we have all the light sources selected. Okay, now that everything is propagated through, look at our detector. Okay, it looks like they are landing on the detector in 3 different places. Now we're going to go up to the analysis portal. We'll click on this. And on the left here, we can see that we also can select which light sources we want to analyze for analysis. We can select none, all, or a few options here. Let's just go ahead with all. We'll run analysis. As you can see, all 3 of our beams show up in the analysis window. Okay, great. Okay, I hope this gives you a good overview of how to work with multiple light sources in 3D optics.